What's up, Mob Crew? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys can hear me all right, please put a 1 in the chat. Good to see everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. For those that are new to my channel, I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover murder, mystery to the missing. And I'll do a quick update here in a second, but as always, we like to give back by featuring the missing at the beginning of our shows. And today we have, okay, we got ones in the chat. Awesome. So today we have Samantha, where's her last name? Samantha Lynn Milliken. She went missing out of Mesa, Arizona. Her family has not contacted her, or she's not been in contact with her family since April of this year. She was last known to have bleach blonde hair. She has a bad wound to her lower left leg. She is just 28 years old, 4'11", blue eyes. She may go by Miley. She may talk about her young daughter. So this is a mother that has gone missing. Just a few months. And I think there was something in the notes saying that there was some activity on her social media account, like Facebook or something like that. So that's really strange. So if you have any information, the number to call down there is 602-876-1000. All right. Yeah, apologies for starting late. I had a doctor's appointment to get to, and I'll talk about that here in a second. We have Nevaeh Ortiz, 15 years old, went missing yesterday. Approximately 1 p.m. in Dundalk area. She has orange hair and wearing a light blue shirt, blue jeans. If you have any information, call 911 or 307-2020. Out of Baltimore County. So Nevaeh, and here's a kind of a better picture of her here. So this is Nevaeh Ortiz. Just went missing yesterday in Baltimore. All right. So yeah, my apologies. I started a little late. I been having some doctor's appointments. Some of you may know I've had some issues with my stomach. Still trying to figure it out. Still haven't found the reason behind what I've been experiencing. It's been some kind of weird lower pain in my stomach, and it just kind of comes off and on. And tried some different things and some tests, and still doing that. So still haven't figured out what's going on, but we'll get there. But I really appreciate everybody's well wishes. It means the world to me. You guys are so awesome. So yeah, today we're going to be covering the latest two big updates on the two serial offenders that were caught. We have Rex Heuermann. And then more recently, the Portland, there's a phase to the 6 girls. Now, it's only being charged with 4 out of the 6. And we'll start with that. I figured because people kind of filter into the show. So I think we'll start with the Portland case. And then we'll talk about the Rex Heuermann, because there are some updates. As a matter of fact, it looks like they were doing a raid at his home today. And we'll look at that footage. Just a couple of things before we get started. I was just curious if anybody has Outlook or Hotmail. Let me know if you've ever had a problem, especially recently, with your email. I've had an issue where when I log into my email, and I'm wondering if this just has something to do with Outlook or Bing having an update. But when I go to click on my email, it takes me to my email page, and it's the right URL. It has my account, but it's as if I just set up a brand new account. There's no emails in my folder. There's nothing in my sent, nothing in my inbox. Gone. Thousands and thousands of emails gone. So I was freaking out, and that actually happened last week, Thursday or Friday. Long story short, I was able to reset my password, and I got back in, and finally they were all there. But it was the strangest thing. I could not see my emails for like 3 days. So I was just curious if anybody had that problem, because I was freaking out. It's so weird. So Lady M says, oops, who is Rex? Rex is the guy that's being so far on the Long Island serial offenders, or the Gilgo Beach homicides. He was arrested last week, and he is being charged for, right now, 3, but they believe at the very least he is associated with 4 of the homicides with that. So it's pretty wild. 2 serial offenders caught. So it's pretty wild. Also, one other thing, just looking at my notes. One thing that YouTube doesn't tell you about like memberships and stuff, I wish they did. But when it comes to like notifications, if you get any notifications from YouTube, from my channel or any channel, those are all automated. Us as the content creator have no control over that, or like the actual accounts with, like if you have a membership with me, I don't have anything to do with that. That Google takes care of that, or YouTube. Because I do once in a while, I'll get emails saying, hey, I don't want to renew or something like that. And, just certain questions about that. And I say, that's all on YouTube's end, so I just wanted to address that because I wish they would explain that more to people. So let's start on let's see. Check my chat here, make sure everything's going good. Oh, and then of course we've got the poll here. Let me check it out since we just started. So we have, do you think Rex Heuermann acted alone on the Gilgo Beach homicides? And right now, at a 72% say yes, he acted alone, 16% not sure, and 12% no, he had help. So this is interesting why I put that up there, because there's some rumors that he could that there's a possibility that there could be more than one involved. So we'll definitely look at that. So let's pull up the clip here and get everybody caught up. So like I said, we're going to start on the Portland side for a bit, and then we'll finish with the on the Gilgo Beach homicides.
After months of
So just to catch up, if you're not familiar with the Portland serial offender, there were 6 women that were introduced that were found all within, I think, 3 to 4 months. And sadly, there was one woman that had Joanna Speaks. She was, I can't remember which victim she was, but she was sadly beaten to death. And that's the only, out of the 6 women, she's the only one that they talked about as far as what happened to her. All the other girls, they've been close to the vest and have not talked about what happened to these girls. And so here, I'll go ahead and play the clip.
Shrouding a string of deaths in Portland, Oregon, the district attorney saying these 4 women's cases are linked. The Multnomah County DA's office says it's investigating the same person of interest in the cases of 22-year-old Kristen Smith, 24-year-old Charity Perry, 31-year-old Bridget Webster, and 22-year-old Ashley Reel. Authorities haven't released the identity of that person of interest or filed charges, but say they don't believe there's any active danger to the community right now.
Links all 6. They are still saying we reserve the right to investigate these other 2 as being unrelated. Coincidences do happen.
Joanna Speaks is one of the victims not yet linked to that person of interest. Her family, like the others, are desperate for answers.
Why did this happen? How?
Digging into the history of a man now linked to the death.
Sorry, let me turn that down just a little bit. So here's just a couple of snippets. It's about 3 minutes long.
So 4 women. Jesse Calhoun was granted clemency in a 2019 charge, but Governor Kotek revoked that status. At 5 o'clock, I'm Jeff Gianola.
And I'm Elizabeth Din. Our Brandon Thompson is digging deeper into Calhoun's history, also looking into when he was taken into custody. Brandon joins us now. So you also found out why that request to revoke clemency was even made.
Yeah, and all District Attorney Mike Schmidt said in his letter requesting that clemency be revoked is that Calhoun is the target of a criminal investigation by Oregon law enforcement. There were no other details other than that, but Calhoun was arrested 2 days after we started reporting on the deaths of these women. Since February, the deaths of Kristen Smith, Charity Perry, Bridget Webster, and Ashley Riel have remained unsolved. The person of interest, Coin 6 sources say, is Jesse Calhoun. Today, we are learning a letter from Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt requested Jesse Calhoun's clemency be revoked, saying, quote, since his release from custody...
So Jesse Calhoun, we got a name and a face to with these girls, at least 4 out of the 6 that he's being charged with. So this is him right here. Now it's yeah, he's got a pretty extensive criminal past, and they're going to talk about it here in just a minute. 36 years old, 33, 36, something like that, mid-30s. And I'll show you, we'll pull up Google Earth, and I'll show you like where the locations of the girls were found and where he supposedly lives or has, where his residence is at. And we'll just kind of, it's kind of interesting because it's kind of smack dab in the middle, sort of. But yeah, this is the guy, Jesse Calhoun. And so let me finish playing the clip.
Pursuant to this commutation, Mr. Calhoun has been involved in criminal activity currently under investigation by Oregon law enforcement, and goes on to say it is our position that his release does not service the interest of the state of Oregon. I asked the DA's office if that investigation was the women's deaths. I did not hear back. Court records obtained by Coin show Calhoun's history has several criminal interactions. The first major offense appears in 2008, pleading guilty to 2 fourth-degree assault charges, a deal that dropped a kidnapping and strangulation charge. There are several traffic charges between then and November 2018, when a traffic stop finds 500 rounds of ammunition and 6 grams of meth. He was sentenced a year later, and before then, in February 2019, he was arrested for strangling a canine and kicking a Gresham police officer. Calhoun was supposed to be in jail through June of last year, but because he helped fight the wildfires in 2020, former Governor Brown commuted his sentence in 2021. The first of 4 women investigators believe are linked was found in February of this year, the last found in May. On June 6, Clackamas County arrested Calhoun for a parole bond violation out of Multnomah County. On Friday, June 30th, DA Mike Schmidt sent the letter to Governor Kotek requesting Calhoun's commutation be revoked. Governor Kotek signed the order the following Monday. He arrived in the Department of Corrections 3 days later. So there have been no charges filed in the cases of these 4 women who have been found dead. Now, it's important to note that whether Calhoun's clemency was revoked or not, he would have been scheduled to be released last July. Now, because that clemency was granted by Governor Brown, that meant the clock on that sentence stopped, and when Governor Kotek revoked that clemency...
It's a story that has grabbed headlines across the region. The bodies of...
Okay, this is just one last headline, just talking about all this stuff, and then we'll kind of discuss it here.
6 women found in or near the Portland metro area in a relatively short time frame. It sparked weeks of speculation and rumors. Those investigations are ongoing. However, tonight we know police believe at least 4 are connected.
Investigators say the deaths of Kristen Smith, Charity Perry, Bridget Webster, and Ashley Riel are linked, and sources say a person of interest is already off the streets. Good evening, and thanks for joining us for K2 News at 6. I'm Deborah Knapp.
And I'm Rick Asway. Here's a look at what we know so far. Those familiar with the investigation tell K2 the person of interest is 38-year-old Jesse Lee Calhoun. He's currently booked in the Snake River Correctional Institution. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office has described Calhoun as a, quote, prolific thief and career criminal. He was serving a sentence for burglary when granted clemency by former Oregon Governor Kate Brown in 2021. This was for fighting the 2020 wildfires. The clemency shaved about 12 months off his prison sentence. That sentence was set to end July 2022.
U.S. Marshal Service tells K2 that marshals were asked to assist the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office in apprehending.
As much as I'd like to, this is still under investigation, and so I cannot comment further.
The cause of death in each one of these cases is still under investigation by the medical examiner's office. Anyone with information should reach out to the agency where the death happened.
And that is helping bring closure to the families of the victims. K2's Emily Gersh spoke with the grandfather of Bridget Webster. And Emily, he says this is one step closer to justice.
Yeah, Deb, Bridget Webster's grandfather says it does bring some closure to know that these cases are linked, and he's looking forward to future developments that will hopefully lead to an arrest for these murders. On April 30th, the body of 31-year-old Bridget Ramsey Webster was found along Harmony Road near Mill Creek in Polk County. The discovery of her body coming 6 days after Charity Perry's was found and 7 days before Ashley Riel's body would be discovered. Kristen Smith's body was found in February. Webster's grandfather, Tom Freud, says he and his now-deceased wife raised Bridget from when she was 4 years old until she graduated from high school. He says Bridget's mother got a call from the Multnomah County DA this morning with the news that 4 of the suspicious deaths were linked and a person of interest had been named. A development, he says, has brought closure and a sense of hope that justice is forthcoming. Now, Bridget Webster was friends with Joanna Speaks, the fifth identified woman. However, the DA did not link Speaks' death to these other cases. However, the Clark County Sheriff's Office is continuing to investigate that case. We're live in Clackamas County tonight. Emily Gersh, K2 News.
The investigation into Gilgo.
Okay. There was one thing that was really interesting. Let me just play this and then we'll look at the map here.
Got a call from the Multnomah County DA this morning with this had been named. A development he says has brought closure and a sense of hope that justice is forthcoming. Now, Bridget Webster was friends with Joanna Speaks.
So that's huge, in my opinion. And it could be just a coincidence. So if you're not familiar with the 6 victims here, let me pull this up because this is interesting. So they're basically saying one of the 4 victims that this guy could be charged with, because there's the other 2. We got Joanna Speaks and then the unidentified Jane Doe for right now. But it's interesting that Joanna and one of these victims knew each other. So, but out of all of the 6 women, the only details that we know about as far as the homicide is Joanna Speaks, which is her right here. But they're saying that right now it's not connected. But maybe more details will get released, I'm sure, soon. So just kind of looking at this, let me pull up Google Earth. So we swing over here, and so pertaining to these 4 girls that they're saying is connected to Jesse. So we have Kristen, I'm sorry, I say Christian. Kristen, she was found in kind of a wooded area, and it's pretty much the same with the 4 victims, more or less. Kind of wooded. Ashley Riel, same kind of thing. She was found in this area here on May 7th. A lot of the girls, one of the most commonalities that I noticed is a lot of them went missing in March, which is interesting. Some of them, they don't have an exact date. Some they do. The furthest one is Bridget over here, but same thing. She was found kind of off to the side of the road in this tree line here, sadly. But if we go back out, so this is the address approximately of where Jesse Calhoun, at least this is the address they have on file. So I don't know if he actually lived there, but that's where his address is at. So it's kind of interesting, especially for the fact that he's right there by I-84, and we have the other victim, Charity, that was sadly found. It's a wooded area, but she was found in a culvert here, sadly. So not a lot I mean, it's huge that they've got a name and a face for these girls. So that's great news that some of these families are getting justice. But yeah, not a lot of whole details coming out about Jesse. Just that he's kind of had a bad past, and that he got released because he fought the wildfires. He got 12 months off his sentence. I wonder if that's like regular, if that seems kind of high. I could see like 4 to 6 months, but 12 months, I think that's a whole year. But I have no experience with with the prison system. But let me know in the chat. You think that's a little high? 12 months for fighting wildfires? And there was some gnarly wildfires in 2020. This isn't even the full. This is just the top half. I forgot about this because I think I was in Ohio at the time, And so, and this is just the top half of the page, but there was some gnarly wildfires going on. So let me see what chat's saying here, and then we'll get over to Rex, because I know a lot of people are curious. Because yes, I saw Jeff talking about the girlfriend. I've got that interview with the girlfriend on the Gilgo side of things. So that's about it. There's a few other things. Maybe we can pull up some articles if we get time on the Portland side. But so he is in custody right now. He's been in custody since June 6th. So he was in custody. I'm trying to think when this broke out. The news broke out. It was around the same time, I think, in June. So it's kind of wild. So he was already in custody for breaking his parole violation. So I guess that's a good thing. All right, let's see. So now we're going to switch over to the Gilgo Beach homicides, and I'll go ahead and play a clip just to kind of get everybody caught up for those that may not be familiar with this case.
Gilgo Beach murder suspect Rex Heuermann continues to expand and now stretches as far as Las Vegas.
Yeah, Fox News' Briella Thomasetti joins us with the very latest developments on this. So many eyes on this case, Briella.
Yeah, Bianca and Dan, good morning to both of you. And here's what we mean by expand. Investigators are now digging essentially into every aspect of Rex Heuermann's life. They want to look for any evidence now that may tie him to other unsolved murders or even missing persons cases. The suspect's DNA has been entered into a special database right here in New York, but law enforcement agencies, as you can imagine, across the country are keeping their eyes peeled.
He wanted some friends. Nobody in the neighborhood ever talked to the guy.
The investigation into the Gilgo Beach murders and suspect Rex Heuermann has expanded beyond state lines as police try to figure out whether the 59-year-old architect is linked to any other victims. Heuermann, who has been charged with murder in connection with the deaths of Melissa Bartholomew, Amberlynn Costello, and Megan Waterman, was planning to retire to South Carolina. A Chevy Avalanche connected to the suspected Long Island serial killer was hauled away from a secluded property in Chester County owned by Heuermann and his brother. The Chester County Sheriff's Department confirmed its assistance in a Facebook post. Heuermann also has ties to Las Vegas, where he owns a timeshare. Las Vegas police say they're reviewing unsolved cases to see if he has any involvement.
I never saw him until I saw him on television. That's as close as I want to see him.
Stories have been getting more exciting, so to say, so we figured we would just come check it out. Meanwhile, back at home in Massapequa Park, the site of cops and crime scene tape continues to draw in crowds of curious neighbors. Authorities have been carefully combing through evidence at Heuermann's ramshackle home since late last week. Yesterday, they carried out mirrors, glass, and a poster. Just over the county line in Amityville, police draped a tarp over tents to conceal their findings at a second storage unit linked to the suspect. Heuermann has remained silent since his arrest, and attempts to reach his family have gone unanswered. But Heuermann's court-appointed attorney insists his client didn't commit these crimes and accuses investigators of ignoring stronger leads.
Just can't believe that it's just somebody who kind of walks amongst us and, at the supermarket with us and on the train with my husband going to work.
Yeah, definitely a scary thought right there. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to all charges and is due back in court on August 1st. Now, if he is convicted, he would serve multiple life sentences without parole. Bianca and Dan, back to you.
Briella, thank you very much.
What do you know about the...
Okay. So I saw some people mentioning this. So this is something that just came out. Definitely take this with a grain of salt. Now, it's kind of hard to hear. Well, it's not super hard to hear, but there's kind of, TikTok, sometimes you get music playing. Gosh, I hope I don't get copyrighted because I don't know if it's just basic generic music or some kind of copyright, but obviously I have to turn up the volume or you're not going to be able to hear it. But she has some interesting insight, if true. We don't know, but I'll go ahead and play it.
A beach killer, and I was like, of course, everybody on Long Island does. We're all following that case. And he started saying things that, first of all, led me to believe it was not just him. There were other people involved. He is taking the fall, though, I think, for...
So this is as it says, a former escort and possible girlfriend. I think I've seen the label girlfriend. Let me know in the chat. I could be wrong, but obviously she's seen Rex, and she talks about experience that she had. Right here, she just talked about saying that he did not do this alone and that he is going to be the fall guy. I don't know about that part, but kind of interesting, but like I said, could it just be, 15 minutes of fame? But still interesting.
All of them, and I think he will, because I think he'll probably be taken care of out of that deal. So he started saying things in the they/them term and like trying to make it seem like somebody who's just really interested in the case. But he was very detailed, and it didn't seem like somebody who was just a true crime fan. It seemed like somebody who, as they talked about it, were reliving it in their head.
Okay, give me 1 second. I just realized I'm wondering, like, why is my chat not pulling up? 1 second. Okay, let's see. Does that work? Hey, there we go. Good to see you, Jennifer. Ooh, stop that. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Be nice if you don't believe her, but interesting, but it's, did she talk about this? Let's see, hold on. Let me play that last part. Did she talk about, because I was kind of distracted for a second.
Term and like trying to make it seem like somebody who's just really interested in the case.
Yeah.
But he was very detailed, and it didn't seem like somebody who was just a true crime fan. It seemed like somebody who, as they talked about it, were reliving it in their head.
I don't know, that part's kind of interesting. The way that could seem kind of believable if, it certainly wouldn't surprise me. But for those that may not hearing what she's saying because of that music, is she saying that, she went out with him and then he was researching or having a conversation talking about the homicides. And she said that he had, this fascination with it. But she said it was something different, not just like us regular true crime. As in her words, she says it was like he's reliving it. So kind of wild.
And as you can imagine, the arrest sent shockwaves through a quiet Long Island neighborhood as police swarmed the suspect's home.
CBS 2's Dick Brennan went to Massapequa Park to get reaction from some very stunned neighbors.
Into the night, people in Massapequa Park did their best to get a glimpse of the home of the suspected serial killer living right in their midst.
It's creepy, really. I mean, if you look at the house, he kind of stands out, but it's creepy. It's weird. It's a quiet town. Everyone knows each other. Nothing really goes on, so it was just surprising to hear and kind of scary. I was like, holy crap. Unbelievable right now, town.
James Pagano couldn't believe when he heard the name of the suspect because he went to high school with Rex Heuermann.
He was very quiet, dark, kept to himself, and extremely intelligent, very smart.
So just who is Rex Heuermann?
And that's his Tinder photos. Oh, just creepy.
He grew up on Long Island, but he worked in Midtown, an architect who ran a company called RH Consultants and Associates. How you doing? Good to see you. YouTuber Antoine Amira, who runs a page called Bonjour Realty, interviewed Heuermann about his work a year ago.
What has this job taught you about yourself?
I think it's taught me more about how to understand people.
Really what stood out is his attention to details. He was very knowledgeable, very detail-oriented.
Amira told us Heuermann had a distinct physical presence.
Intimidating, no. Imposing, yes, very, very imposing. He is ahead of both me, a very large person. I still remember his handshake when we met. Very strong.
So this is the guy, I'm sure most of you may know if you've seen it, but this is the guy that did the interview with him. It's becoming quite popular. Very eerie to just see that because it just happened last year.
Very strong handshake. It was like you were shaking like a very fast piece of cardboard. That's how strong his hand was.
CBS 2 was outside Heuermann's office at 36th and 5th as authorities carried out at least 4 computers, and now the investigation continues.
The human nature is fascinating because you never know who you have in front of you. It's very unsettling at the same time, but also fascinating.
Did the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer have accomplices? He's charged with murdering 3 of the 11 victims in the case, but investigators believe the 6'4" suspect may be responsible for others, and they say he couldn't have committed the crimes without help. Here's Les Trent.
Did the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer have accomplices?
I still believe that there's more than one killer.
John Ray, the attorney for 2 Gilgo Beach murder victims, says he believes there's a ring of serial killers at work, not just Rex Heuermann.
This monster, Rex, who I call Tyrannosaurus Rex because he's so big and so ugly and mean.
That's pretty good.
I expect that he will be charged with, very likely, with more murders.
When you look at the profile of a serial killer, it's unlikely that they'd be working with somebody else.
I don't know. That's a disservice to T-Rexes because I love T-Rexes. It's like my favorite dinosaur.
That's not true. This fellow, he was on the internet dealing with child pornography and dark web kind of torture, pain, and death. And those people very, very often act in groups.
We've learned cops decided to arrest Heuermann on a New York City street because they knew he had access to dozens of guns and they wanted to avoid an armed standoff. We're also learning his reaction. When he arrived at the Suffolk County Jail, he asked jail officials, is it in the news? Heuermann's wife Asa and daughter Victoria have reportedly told police they are shocked, embarrassed, and disgusted by the revelations about him. The disappearance of the 3 women he's accused of killing coincides with times his wife was out of town.
We don't believe that the family had anything to do with this.
Heuermann owns several properties out of town, including a timeshare condo in this luxury Las Vegas resort and a picturesque plot of land near his brother's home in Chester, South Carolina.
Yeah, so we're going to look at this here. This is going to be kind of the highlight for today's live show. This is very interesting, and there's even a little story about this that I didn't understand until now. But this address belongs to his brother, but they, from what they're reporting, is I don't know if there's more than one property on this land, but yeah, they kind of say it's his and his brother's area over here, and this is in South Carolina. But yeah, we're going to look at this here.
Now police in both states are reopening cold cases to see if there is a link to Heuermann.
So that would be interesting if there's cold cases in South Carolina or in the surrounding areas. So that is some of the updates, and so let me close this out. Whip this up. Shout out to the Pascal Show. That's so awesome. 100K subscribers on YouTube. That's so awesome. That's what we're trying for. That's what we're trying for. We're almost at the big 7-0. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the show. You guys are all so amazing. And one day, hopefully soon, we can get there as well. But yeah, let me, before we get to the property and stuff, I'm spelling it wrong. There's some things that were going on like about 2 hours ago. Let's see. Yeah, so this is it. I wonder if there's an actual... No, that's not it. Boy, there's a lot of posts since then. They disappear? No. Wait. Oh, is this at the house? Or is that just a...
This was found yesterday inside Rex Heuermann's home. He's pleaded, say an arsenal of weapons was found yesterday.
Yeah, 300 guns or over 300 weapons. Oh, and that's eerie. He's got a cellar down there. Ugh. That's creepy. His wife's got Zari filed for divorce. There's the daughter to the BTK, Dennis Rader. She's kind of sharing her thoughts, especially relating to the families of, the wife and the children to Rex Heuermann that probably have no idea what monster he was. And, now they're victims as well. But yeah, this is what was going on. This was 3 hours ago, and I was hoping maybe there'd be something. yeah, so anyway, just short little clip. So I guess this was going on today, a few hours ago. I'm sure it's late now. It's 7 here. It'd be, what, 9:30 there, 10:30. So, and this is at the residence. Here you can see the red house. I'm not blocking it. Yeah. So here we can see the house here. We can see a tent here. So clearly they're hauling some, and I guess from what it says right now at Rex Heuermann's home, police are beginning to reposition their vehicles, I believe in an attempt to obstruct our view. It tells me they have found something big and been waiting to bring it out. I asked detective and he told me no comment. Interesting. And at that time, because if that was 3 hours ago, so I mean that's around evening time. I wonder if they were kind of waiting until it was kind of getting dark and hoping some of the bystanders would go away. But interesting. Let's see if there's any updates on that. Let me know in the chat if there's been anything talk about it. I mean, I doubt they're gonna say anything, but that's kind of interesting. I think there's one more video. Let me. I don't know if that was really necessary. I mean, they got the caution tape. Interesting. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so it's the same thing. But yeah, some kind of evidence, obviously. Let me know if you have any ideas in the chat. Kind of curious. So let me get to the article. Oh my gosh, such a crazy article. It's in one of these sometimes. Oh, I hope this ad doesn't play. And then I'll pull up Google Map and I'll show you guys where that's located and we'll kind of look at it. All right, let me scroll down, see if this is the one. This doesn't look like it. Oh, there it was. Oh, I just saw it. Go back. There we go. So, okay, so here is the article here. Not big in reading articles when we do this one. I'm waiting for this ad to start. There we go. Okay. It says, accused Gilgo Beach serial offender Rex Heuermann had reportedly been planning to retire on his secluded property in South Carolina and lived near his younger brother. Interesting. So I guess they both have property there. Craig, his brother, keeps saying his brother is going into retirement. A neighbor in Chester, and that's in Chester, South Carolina. And that was told to Fox News Digital Monday. So 2 days ago. He told me when I first... So who's talking? So this must be the neighbor? Okay. So this is the neighbor of Craig, I guess. He told me when I first moved down here that his brother owns a lot across the road. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, interesting. So he's on one and he's on the other. But this is the neighbors talking. And that his brother is going to retire down here. And when he does, everybody's leaving. What? And that his brother's going to retire down here, and when he does, everybody's leaving. Was that his family? I'm assuming maybe that's his family he's talking about. Rex, 59, apparently planned to buy everybody out once he arrived. The neighbor told the news outlet on condition of anonymity. So, does that mean he wanted to... Does that mean he's going to buy the neighbors out? Let me know how you... what you think that means. Everybody's leaving. Rex apparently planned to buy everyone out. Everybody out. Once he arrived. Huh. The property belonging to his brother Craig features a front gate bearing 2 unwelcoming signs, and we'll look at it. One reading, "Keep out, no trespassing," and another that says, "No warrant, no entry." Yeah. I understand keep out, no trespassing, but no warrant, no entry. It's a little weird. Here's a picture of it. We'll look at it on Google Maps. But yeah. Oh, there's a close-up of it. Keep out, no trespassing, no warrant, no entry. The neighbor claimed that when he went to mow the grass one Sunday, this is crazy. So this neighbor went to mow the grass one Sunday. Craig, the brother to Rex, hit him from behind with a steel pole. Oh my God. I mean, that's terrible. A steel pole. I called the police because I was going to shoot him, as you should, but my wife talked me out of it. We called the police, and when we talked to Craig, he said, well, I told him not to cut grass on Sunday. What? I'm assuming the neighbor's cutting his own grass, and this guy comes out and assaults him, and you can't cut grass on Sunday? He also alleged that Craig, who once killed a police captain in a crash while drunk and coked up, left business cards reading, "I'm an a-hole," in mailboxes along his streets. Oh my God, this guy's terrible. I keep my distance. I think he's crazy as a pet bug. Another neighbor told Fox Digital, also on condition of anonymity, so being anonymous, multiple attempts by the Post to contact Craig, the brother, has been unsuccessful. The Chester County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that it has assisted in gathering evidence in the case, including obtaining a search warrant for the Chevy Avalanche, first linked to Rex in the homicides. The impounded pickup was the second of the distinctive Chevy model owned by Heuermann, tied to the murder probe. Another model of his vehicle was pulled from the alleged serial offender Nassau County. Yeah. Let's see if there's any more. He has been named the prime suspect in the murders of Marine. And so, yeah. Okay, so that's it. Does this say anything? No. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let me pull up the map while we're doing that. Okay. Let me do this over here real quick. But yeah, it sounds like his brother is just as bad in his own way. Oh, there it is. Type it in. Ripley. There it is. Is that it? Yes. Okay. All right, swing that back over. So yeah, this is it. There's the picture we just looked at. So, gosh, that's crazy. So the neighbors, so he says his brother's gonna have a land across the street. So I'm assuming this. Oh, look, the chat. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get to chat here in just a second. I just wanted to pull up a picture. Interesting. So I wonder if this is the poor neighbor that's mowing his lawn and this nutcase comes out and strikes him over the head with a steel pole. What a nutcase. Because it was a Sunday. And what's this one got? Private property. So I wonder if this could be it. I'm not sure. It's just according to that, it said across the street. Hey, Kathy. Thank you so much. Love your show, Chris. Thank you so much, Kathy. All right, let me get caught up in chat. Oh, I don't have live chat up here. So we got 250 votes. 70% is pretty much the same. Still think majority still think he's acted alone. In second place, not sure, and 12% believe there could be more than one, or at least with him anyway. Where did my chat go? There we go. Yes, totally agree. Okay, got that. Lordy, the rumors. Yeah. I'd assume that neighbor thing, I mean, if they called the police, that would be in the record somewhere. Geneva says he used to work on the beach area when he was young. He knew the area well. Ooh, interesting. That's kind of creepy. So I'm assuming Gilgo Beach area, which definitely gonna do some more research. So let me pull up this other article. Wow, that is loading up. Is this the other one? Okay, let me read this. So, because I saw some people wondering how tall he was. So some of this may not be new to you guys. Like I said, I haven't covered this case since Friday, so I thought I'd recap a little bit. But so this accused Rex Heuermann was traumatized after the bust and depraved Gilgo Beach homicides, according to his attorney. This poor guy. Let's see. So he entered a not guilty plea in his arraignment on Friday. Other than that, nothing struck to me as unusual about him. The attorney said of the 6'4" who has been likened to an ogre. I like that. I like ogre better than T-Rex. He was articulate. He was intelligent. He was soft-spoken. Brown said 59-year-old architect who had 300 guns stashed. Oh my gosh. So I wonder, I'm assuming those guns probably, or most of those guns were stashed in that cellar where he allegedly exhaustively read articles. Of course, yeah. So he searched terrible stuff. I can't even talk about the stuff that he searched. It's so bad. Brown repeated in his early claim that there is nothing to suggest that the Manhattan architect is involved in these incidents. Oh, this is his, obviously, Rex's lawyer saying this. Blaming the media. I haven't heard anything about an eyewitness who saw anything. He said, even though cops put the breakthrough down to a witness reporting something matching Heuermann's description, driving a distinctive first-generation Chevy Avalanche like the one he owned. And yeah, that's so wild. So here's just the plot of... pull that up. So here's where I guess his brother lives. It says that he could be moving across it. Well, he's not moving anymore, but that was the plan. He was going to retire. So I don't know if it was... I guess maybe if this is a road, maybe somewhere, like if his brother's here, maybe here. I don't know. But, so yeah, that's in South Carolina. But... oh gosh, it came up again. There we go. So there's the home. So there is a cellar. Oh, okay. I can see it right there. Kind of hard to see it. That's creepy. But the avalanche just so happens is, because this is what one of the witnesses to one of the victims had seen driving off, is a Chevy Avalanche, and they I think they remembered like the logo of the Avalanche logo, and he actually owns two of them. And where is it? And so that's the other one that they took. So this is a black, newer model. I'm not sure the year. Someone in chat knows, but a newer model. The green one is a first generation. I'm not sure the year. So he had two of those vehicles. And then I think he had a Dodge Charger as well, but I don't know. Maybe he sold that, but that was also in his records. Oh, as a matter of fact, there's a Dodge Charger sitting right there. Oh, that might be his Dodge Charger. Unless that's an undercover cop or something. Or a cop. Interesting. It's right in front of you. So, anywho, let me see what's going on in the chat. I hear some things going off. Thank you so much. I mean, I absolutely feel terrible for these families, but this is great news. I mean, 2 possible serial offenders caught within a month. I mean, and one of the biggest, kind of cold cases as far as with the Gilgo Beach. That's amazing. And then to catch one that could have been active for many more years, could have ended up being kind of like a Gilgo Beach, so that's amazing that, one guy gets caught, and like I said, these 4, with the Portland, that was all roughly in 3 months. As far as 4, I mean, most of the victims, I think all of them mostly went missing in March. Now he's only being tied to 4 right now, but one of the victims to the one that's not being tied, there's 2 friends, or there's friends, and one of those is Joanna Speaks and Bridget, which is connected to the 4th, but Joanna is said not to be connected at the moment, so kind of interesting. Let's see here. Charles says there's more than one Lisk, in my opinion, even if they don't know each other. I could totally see that being plausible. Totally. Maybe not necessarily a copycat, but yeah, totally. Jen says, I agree. He's likened an ogre. Much better than calling him a T-Rex. Yes, we love our dinosaurs, yeah. Oh, where did it disappear to? Oh, there it is. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for the $4.99 super sticker. You are so awesome. That helps the channel so much. You guys are so amazing. Please show Jennifer some love in the chat. And awesome. K Rosie. K Rosie, thank you so much for becoming a member. Speaking one just real quick, I just did want to address, because I'm sure a lot of you probably know that there was a certain content creator, and I'm not going to get too much into this because I want to stay on topic, but I'm sure a lot of you know who I'm maybe talking about. Certain content creator selling just terrible stuff on her Patreon. Here on my channel, what you get with my Patreon or members, I like to upload fun stuff. My last video I did for my Patreons and my members is I did a bloopers reel. A lot of people enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, so I'm going to be doing a second one, probably for both. And I may do an alteration, so because I know some of you support me on Patreon and YouTube, so I try to have unique stuff for both of those. But that's what you're going to get on my channel, is kind of stuff like that, behind the scenes, maybe some deep dives and stuff like that. But really, a lot of it's I try to go kind of the other way and kind of do some lighthearted stuff, because we're talking about true crime all the time, and so I always try to do some stuff that might be funny or something to kind of just add some levity to this stuff. So, but yeah, that, like I said, I'm not going to talk much more about that. But yeah, what that person did is absolutely disgusting, and that channel should be taken down, in my opinion. There's just no excuse for that stuff. Tom N. I think he had help. If you listen to the girl in the 911 call, she mentions them. Yeah, we could play the 911 call. Sorry, I had to move this. She mentions them, but they did say that she was very intoxicated. They may have been that may have been what killed her. Time will tell. Yeah. So that particular victim, yeah, we don't know. It could definitely be homicide. And I think I've got the news report. I could play it if you guys are interested. Now they say the people that she's talking to, one's I think is like her bodyguard, and then the other one's the homeowner, or like the homeowner, and then she kind of runs out, and then yes, call 911, and yeah, it could be connected. At the very least, that incident is what led to actually finding the remains of the first Gilgo 4. So, is that coincidence, or could there be definitely something to that for sure? Ibizel, I hope I didn't butcher that. Thank you for covering true crime. Thanks for being a kind creator and great mods. Very appreciated. Yes, please. Shout out to my wonderful mods. They work for free, although I do try to, give them some gear and stuff, some merch when I can. But yes, they work for free. They do modding on their own time. And what's tough with modding is, not a lot of times, but sometimes they have to be the bad guy. And who wants to be a bad person and have to block somebody? And yeah, what they do is amazing. And so, yeah, shout out to them. And so I always try to do anything. Any of my mods ever have any concerns, you can always reach me and know that we can speak one-on-one. And like I said, it's hard to get good moderators, and we don't like to have too many, because it just, the whole too many cooks in the kitchen type thing. So that's kind of, we want to try to have just that right amount. But yeah, I have wonderful mods. Thank you so much, Chris. You're a class act. No nonsense from you. Thank you for being you. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. Shannon is not connected. Yeah, so some people are split on that. But let's see. Do I have it here? Is it that one, or is it in this one? So here is this. We'll play this, and then we'll recap everything. And then I'll talk about what I've got. So I have 2 videos that are almost done. Should have had a video out yesterday, but I had to redo it. Not entirely, but I kind of had to take it apart.
In Suffolk County today released those tapes, hoping to help unravel the 12-year-old Gilgo Beach mystery. Today, a bit of a shocking finding. Police now say that they do not believe that Shannon Gilbert's death is a case of murder.
But they hope this and other evidence they decided to release today will help them solve what has been a rather embarrassingly long unsolved cases of mass murder, the murders or other kinds of deaths of 7 other people in Suffolk County and 3 others in Nassau County.
Eyewitness News reporter Kristen Thorne is live in Brentwood with our lead story tonight. Kristen.
Liz and Bill, police have been saying for quite some time that they weren't exactly sure if Gilbert was murdered or if she died in a marsh near Gilgo Beach. But after hearing these calls today, it does sound like that is a possible scenario.
No, stop it, please. Stop it, please, please, stop it.
So this is the 911 call. I think obviously there's just got to be like a clipped down shortened version of it. And I'll have to get the full thing just to kind of listen to it.
Please stop it, no.
In the 23-minute 911 phone call released by police from 2010, we hear Shannon Gilbert go from scared for her life to confused.
Why are you calling me by my name?
What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
Let's go back to Manhattan.
Police say that's the voice of Michael Pack, Gilbert's bodyguard. Police say Pack drove Gilbert to the home of Joseph Brewer in Ocean Beach. Brewer had hired Gilbert, who was a sex worker.
At some point during the meeting with Brewer, Shannon reportedly began acting irrational.
Please, can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please, something's going to happen to me.
There's nobody outside. You're okay, right?
After that, Gilbert runs out of the house. She starts knocking on people's doors. Those people call 911 too.
43 the Bayou. Some woman is knocking at my door. She says she's in danger.
The last thing we hear on the call is Gilbert running again. Police say they believe Gilbert ran into this marsh in Gilgo, which would have looked like this at the time that night. They believe that's where Gilbert died.
Right now, we believe it's a tragic accident.
Police do not believe Gilbert's death is related to the murders of other sex workers whose remains were later found in Gilgo. For the first time, they're explaining why.
In this case, she's found on the south side of the parkway. In all the other cases, they're found on the north side of the parkway. In this case, our victim called 911. None of the other cases resulted in 911 calls. She's found with her identification with her. She's found with money with her, with cash with her. There's no effort to conceal her body.
So the question I would like to know is, what would be the toxicology report? Just wondering, did she have anything in her system? And what was the determined cause of death? Did they ever... Like I said, this is a case that I always openly admit when I don't know a case 100%. And this is... I know this case, but I don't know it like the other cases that I usually cover. Yeah, but I do understand the community is kind of divided on that, and I could see both sides to that for sure. It really makes me want to hear the whole 911 call. I wonder if I can find that. I'm not going to play that tonight because I just ain't going to have enough time. But let me pull up Twitter and see if there's any updates here. I'm just curious if they're talking about what they pulled out of the house today. Okay, so South Carolina neighbors say secrecy surrounds suspect Rex Heuermann's odd brother. Yeah, so far it sounds like it. Despite owning 4 plots of land in Chester, South Carolina since 2022, the suspect Rex is unknown to at least 4 neighbors who live on the same street as his lots. Neighbors are, however, familiar with Rex's brother, Craig, oh yeah, especially one of them, who has lived in the ramshackle home surrounded by no trespassing signs for about 2 decades on the same street where Rex purchased land last year, possibly in preparation for his retirement. That ain't gonna happen. On Tuesday, New York State Police, with assistance of FBI, went to Craig's lot to... Oh, interesting. went to Craig's lot to seize a green Chevy Avalanche connected to Rex. So the green Chevy Avalanche that we see in the Google Maps, this bad boy was actually at his brother's in South Carolina. So let's go. Wee. Okay. So here's just kind of a overlay here. Fix this real quick. So here is, I'm sure a lot of you know this case, but here's where, sadly, the many victims. We've got the Gilgo 4 here. And Shannon Gilbert, she was found on the... So the bodies were found on this side, but she was found on the other side. So they thought that was odd, considering, the others are on a certain side. Anyway, his home, his main home, the one that we see where it's parked out. So here's his home. And then we jump over, and down here in Penn State, is this Manhattan? His office is down here, and there's so many things. I'm not gonna go over them all, but there was phone pings that were being used from his burner phones that he was using, that they were kind of getting catching on to, and they noticed that whoever was doing it was going from this area here back into where get rearranged here, was commuting back over this way. So that all lined up with what they thought. Then we have South Carolina. There it is. And so this is where his brothers already has property. And so I guess the Chevy, that green Chevy Avalanche here, was in South Carolina at this home. That was kind of interesting. And then we see the picture of... close that one. Of the black model here, Avalanche, being towed. And I'm assuming this has got to be... oh yeah, I can see the thing. Yeah, so this had been in front of the property at this house here. Which one were we reading? Was this the one I was reading? Yes, it was. Okay. Read that part. Four neighbors who spoke to Fox Digital did not encounter Greg often, but on the rare occasion he does leave his house and talk to neighbors, he usually comes off a bit odd, they say. One neighbor described Craig as a doomsday prepper. Saying his yard is full of junk, but it never leaves his property line. Photos of Greg's property beside his home show garbage bags, empty Amazon box, what appear to be woodworking station, pile of wooden slats. Nothing there. We rarely see him outside. He does have a ton of dogs on his property. You can hear barking all the time, but he doesn't really bother us, one neighbor said. But as far as few interactions, they've always been pleasant. Well, I'm assuming this is not the neighbor that said that he got whacked over the head with a steel pole. He did apparently hear Craig yelling obscenities one evening at someone, calling her, I can't say that word, not a nice word, and some other words, but he didn't get involved, the neighbor said. That's That doesn't look good. Craig's front gate has the 2 signs. We've already talked about that. Rick's properties are underdeveloped and back up to a series of small connected lakes on which some residents keep boats. Ew. Oh, and these are pictures of the yard. Oh, wow. Because I saw an overview shot on Twitter. Someone flying a drone over that. Craig has one rule. According to 2 neighbors, don't cut the grass on Sunday. Don't do it. You're going to get a steel pole to the back of your head. One neighbor said he learned the hard way that Craig enforces his rules, and he went to cut grass on a Sunday at the property across from Greg, which he used to own. Greg allegedly approached the neighbor from behind and hit him over the head with a steel pole. God, I mean, you could kill somebody. Out of nowhere, the neighbor recalled, I called the police because I was going to shoot him. I don't blame you. But my wife talked me out of it. We called the police, and when we talked to Craig, he said, well, I told him not to cut the grass on Sunday. Oh, yeah, this guy's nuts. Craig also handed out the business cards on his street that include his name, followed by the words, Bad Mother Effer, that's a new one, and his phone number. Oh, this is it. Oh, my goodness. What the hell? What the hell? Sorry, guys. I'm going to get caught up in chat here in a second. What is this? All right. Oh, I went to Rex. Rex. So this is the business card. So they scratched off the last name and the phone number and kind of edited out the mother effer. But yeah, you got a business card, Craig Heuermann, Bad Mother Effer, and here's my number. Wow. And don't cut grass on Sundays. Craig Heuermann could not be reached for comment for this story. That doesn't surprise me. I keep my distance. I think he's crazy as a bedbug, said the third neighbor, adding, however, that he has never had any real issues with Craig. Craig even found one neighbor's runaway dog and brought it to a nearby vet. A fourth neighbor whose house sits between Rex and Craig's property, interesting, said he has run into Craig a handful of times and has never seen Rex. The neighbor said that he's not had any issues with Craig other than one time when Craig asked him about some items missing from his property, which the neighbor knew nothing about. Uh-oh. Craig has not been charged with any crimes related to the Gilgo Beach murders. And yes, let's do keep in mind this is the brother, although he is associated by family. Maybe he's just an oddball. But there are some kind of weird things about his brother for sure. And this kind of talks how they kind of caught him. He was tied through DNA evidence, cell phone data. He taunt the victims' families, which is absolutely disgusting. And many other things. One of the things that kind of sealed his... There's many things that sealed his fate, but they actually were able to get DNA from a pizza box. And, that was pretty cool. And then, there's a lot of speculation with this belt. For those that may not know, it's depending on how you look at it, it's HM or WH. But what's interesting is his grandfather, who I think his father lived in that house. I have to look, but anyway, because that house that they live in has been passed down through family. His grandfather's name was William, so that could be WH for William Heuermann. And if you're wondering what's this belt's for, is this belt was found on one of the victims. So pretty wild. So let's see. What's everybody saying in the chat? So we're about an hour and a half into the show here. So it's about the same. We have over 300 votes. Most of you, 70%, believe he's acted alone. 20% not sure, and then 13% believe that there could be more than one. So I'm going to end that poll because I always sometimes forget to end these. Camilla, Rex was not charged with Shannon Gilbert's return. Yep. It happened on 5/1/2010. The driver, Mike, or the John Brewer cleared. She was smart and ran. Yeah, so that's what they kind of talked about, is like the other people you hear when on that 911 call. Even populates their name. It shows their names, and they said that all of them were, according to the news outlets, were 100% cooperating. After she went missing or found or whatever. So now they doesn't mean that it's someone could be involved, but according to that outlet and others, they say that the people that you hear on the call were cleared. But there could have been something still, foul play that could have happened. But yeah, from my understanding, that did lead to, that was kind of like the catalyst to finding the other 4 victims that are connected to Rex. So it's kind of wild. Thank you so much, Camilla, for the $10 super chat. You are so awesome. Idol, the lead investigator said today, all evidence points to one, I can't say that word, so one killer. Interesting. So I wonder if there's, as far as he's connected to the 4, and then is there a secondary one that's connected to the other girls? So, because there's still more bodies, still more families that are longing for answers. And here's just kind of I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, but here's just kind of where the bodies were found and some of the names. You got the Gilgo 4 here, but you have an Asian male, a John Doe. You have Jessica Taylor, another John Doe. This one's really sad because you got a Jane Doe and a toddler Doe, and they're actually connected. So it was a mother and baby, and that's absolutely disgusting. So, and they're both, as far as I know, both are still does. And I feel like there's like one more. We got Castillo. Yeah, Castillo, and then Shannon Gilbert. Still people like to include her because you may never know. So anyway, so what's coming up on this channel? We have, I've got a Brian Kober video that I've been working on for like a week now, kind of a week, not like a week straight, but I've been kind of working on it. And anyway, I was hoping to have it done yesterday, but I had to tweak some stuff, and if some of you guys have seen my behind the scenes on how I do my stuff, gets chaotic, and so it's going to take a little bit more effort. So it should be hopefully out tomorrow, if not Friday. I'm pretty sure it'll be out tomorrow. And then, of course, the members can be working on the second follow-up to the bloopers, because that was a huge hit. And like I said, once again, the content, for my members and Patreons, I try to put some uplifting stuff behind the scenes as well. There's a mix, but it's more relax related. Since we're always talking about this, this terrible stuff. Oh, interesting. All right, brutally honest about Shannon Gilbert. Independent autopsy report. The findings are consistent with homicidal strangulation. I can't see this other part. Gosh, why does it do this to me? Hold on. Okay, give me a second. Larynx was missing, but the body of the hyoid bone was found. Continue reading. Interesting. I'll have to look this up. No way, not an accident. Am I caught up? Maybe she's typing up more. Yeah, curious. From the God, I'm gonna butcher this. From the hyoid bone. I want to say thyroid bone. The two greater horns of the neck bones were missing. Not complete, these structures, the larynx and the hyoid bone, are often fractured during manual strangulation. Interesting. I mean, how can they say it's an accident if those, especially if those are broken or what have you? That is interesting. I'll definitely have to look into that. It's just been crazy. I mean, now you've got two serial offenders back to back. Absolutely wild. I have a former boss who lives a mile away from Heuermann in Massapequa Park. Oh, wild. I wonder if he knew Rex at all or bumped into him. Okay, so you're talking about the interview with the girl we saw earlier. I saw a small 5-minute section of that interview. Yeah, because I believe there's multiple parts. I just played one part. She states that she knew he could be a mass serial offender. He had her services when she was young, too. Ugh. It's terrible. Hey, Casey Ann, good to see you. 63 clocks, good to see you. I think he worked in tandem with one of the other neighbors. Huh. Yeah. So anyway, we just about approached the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. So I usually like to keep my show just about that long. So for those that replay, it's not too much longer. So I really appreciate everybody taking the time. If you can, please hit the like button. Like I said, I've got some big videos coming out. One definitely for tomorrow for sure. And then as always, I always love to take care of, the Patreon and members. I try to upload at least once a week. If I miss a week, then what I'll try to do is I'll upload 2 like the next week to make up for the week that I missed. But I just want to thank everybody for being in here. And so I've got to, because I've just been so busy with the with doing doctor's appointments. Where is it? Not here. Oh, there it is. So I haven't put the music to this, so we're gonna do this. Just run through our pets here, and before I do that, just if you missed the first part, I'm way behind on my emails because I had something really strange. I don't see anybody mention having the similar situation. But anyway, I went to log into my email Outlook, and I go into it, and there's no mail. It's like it was like a brand new account. Yet in the top right, it's got my account, with my logo or whatever, and it's been, and it's the exact same URL. And anyway, I couldn't get into my email for multiple days. And then finally, I was able to change my password. Then I went in through like Mozilla or like Google Chrome. And then I was able to get in through there. And then it populated. So I'm like kind of behind on my emails. So I apologize. So I'm going to start getting into those starting tonight. And if not tonight, if I haven't gotten back to everybody, it'll be tonight or tomorrow. So anyway, running through this, we've got Bud, we've got Mr. and Mrs. Ducky, we've got Esbien and Jovi, we got Hippie. Let me zoom this in a little bit. There we go. We got Little Bit. Oh my gosh, that face. Oh, I would steal him. And then we got Luke in the overalls. We got Miss Millie. Nona and Peach are sleeping on the ceiling tonight. We got Precious. We got Swinky. Oh, it looks like a little jaguar. Then we got Takas and Beckham. And we got Tinker, which is a cool pet because I had a cockatiel when I was a kid. And then we got Tucker, Mitchell, Marshall, and Ty. And then we got Whimsy. So, those are the pets. I will get them worked in. And I thank you guys so much. And we will see you guys Friday. But, of course, I'll have some stuff for you guys tomorrow. As always, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Have a wonderful night. And we will see you guys soon.